I have this love-hate relationship with the media. A lot of times there's too much fluff and not enough people being critical or even honest anymore. And then other times, there are people who get a platform and just say the first thing that pops into their head, which doesn't really work for everybody, but this does work for some people.
No, we're not getting them no plane ticket to the beach. We're sitting there as to Galveston, Texas, right where that dirty water washed up on the beach. They can't even get in the water. Come on, man.
One of the reasons that I've loved Inside the NBA so much is because it's such a free-flowing, natural show where everybody is great at that style. Sure, they've had some blunders and bad moments, but when you're being your authentic self, this stuff sort of comes with the territory. Honestly, you can't really appreciate Inside the NBA without appreciating its faults. With that being said, the Timberwolves' appreciation for the show ran out, with the show having yet another blunder. The Timberwolves went as far to boycott the entire show after Draymond Green took it upon himself to make things personal, which really, in a way, was kind of ruining the whole flow of the entire show.
We wanted that, yeah.
Rudy sucks, not me. What I do?
Again?
I didn't do anything. What are you going at me for? You did it to them, not me.
I mean, here you have the crew trying to have a nice civil interview with Luka, and then you have Draymond not missing an opportunity to rip one off. I thought that the Timberwolves boycotting the show and standing up for their guys was very admirable. When you think about it, this team has come such a long way from even just a year ago. Now, while boycotting the show was a great moment of solidarity, there are reports out there that something huge could be going down in Minnesota very soon. But first, after everything that's happened this year, it all comes down to this, the NBA Finals. As we all know, the NBA Finals is go big or go home, which could not be more relevant as Underdog Fantasy is giving you the opportunity to 325 times your money with their limited time Pick 8 promo specifically for the finals. When you create this 8-person entry with picks, Underdog will automatically double flex the entries, meaning that you could miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. To fully take advantage of this limited time promo, when you sign up, use code COOP and you could get up to $250 in bonus cash. Also, using my code is a great way to support the channel. Thank you, Underdog, for the sponsor. I really have no idea how anybody could possibly have a personal vendetta against guys like Rudy Gobert or Karl-Anthony Towns. Sure, Rudy Gobert has done some silly things, but for the most part, my guy's just out there minding his own business. And as for Karl-Anthony Towns, this guy does nothing but radiate great vibes while being one of the best big men in the league.
This is what movies is made of.
This is what movies
This is what movies is made of. 4 months away, I come back, 2 free throws, don't worry about it. I got that.
Through all the adversity and BS, Karl-Anthony Towns has stayed true to himself and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
For me, being here 9 years, I've seen everything and seen it all, and
Man, them 9 years.
just, man, right? But
This year.
to be in here and this year, these guys, this team, after all that, it just is
After
super
all that
special.
happened.
You really have no choice but to be happy for Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, and this Timberwolves team after all that they've been through over the years. Sure, they lost to the Dallas Mavericks, but they lost to them in the Western Conference Finals. Doing something like that is no small thing. Do you guys want to know the last time my New Orleans Pelicans made the Western Conference Finals? Let's just not talk about that one. So yeah, not long ago, this team was on the verge of tears after winning what would be an emotional playing game. So I knew that this team wasn't going to take the opportunity to do something like playing the Western Conference Finals for granted. Let's put things into perspective here. Before these playoffs, this team hadn't played in the Western Conference Finals since 2004. 04 was a very long time ago. Back in 04, a prime Kevin Garnett was still the face of the franchise. Back in 04, video game graphics looked like this and we loved every second of it. Back in 04, the first iPhone hadn't even been released yet. Back in 04, we wouldn't even have the opportunity to have our first YouTuber yet. Which, while we're here, I have to say that some of that old school content and those old YouTubers just take you back to a different period of time. Shout out to Mr. Shy City Main. If you know, that's all I'm going to say there. So I'm sure that you guys get the point. Like I said, 04 was a very long time ago, and this team making it back to the conference finals in the fashion that they did is special. What a run that it was for the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. They made what was supposed to be a super team in the Phoenix Suns look incredibly not super.
So, you know, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
Imagine saying something like this and then going on to actually sweep the Phoenix Suns. But forget the Suns, because this Timberwolves team was able to knock off the at the time defending champ Denver Nuggets.
3 on this double. Shot clock at 5. Edwards, Gordon is there. Backpedals, jabs, shot. Slammed in. Reed parachutes in and jackhammers it down.
After taking the series to 7 games, they stepped on the Nuggets' home floor and sucked the life out of the arena, or should I say brought the life, because those Minnesota Timberwolves fans had it sounding like a home game for Minnesota. The Timberwolves beating the Nuggets didn't surprise me in the least. They gave the Nuggets the most trouble last year, and even Bruce Brown called the Timberwolves their toughest opponent. The thing is that the Timberwolves weren't even fully healthy that year. It's amazingly ironic to me that one of the guys who helped construct the team that would eventually beat the Nuggets this year was one of the guys who had a major part in making them. Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly got a lot of crap for the Gobert trade and the way that his first season in Minnesota ended, but this whole time, he had a vision. Tim trading for Gobert wasn't just some blind leap of faith. Chris Finch, who was an assistant coach in New Orleans, was one of the masterminds behind the Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins offense.
What happened is, like, Finch created the two big men.
He's a genius with
He's
that
a genius
offense,
with
bro.
the offense.
For sure.
And Finchy just figured it out for us, and it was like, yo, look, they can't guard us. You put the right pieces around it.
That two big Pelicans offense was looking unstoppable before Boogie tore his Achilles. As a Pelicans fan, I've asked myself a lot, what if Boogie never tore his Achilles? To me, this is one of the most interesting what-ifs because teams weren't built to stop what the Pelicans had. The Pelicans had two bigs that had the ability to play like guards, but still would play big while doing so. Unironically, one of the main criticisms and downfalls for Cat is that while he is this supremely talented offensive player, sometimes he just relies on his jump shot too much and forgets how talented that he is. In fact, this was the main criticism that Cat received playing against the Mavericks in the conference finals. With Cat settling often and not having his best series, averaging 19.6 points on 37.9% from the field, everybody would feel that Cat let the Mavericks off of the hook, due to them not really having the size that the Timberwolves had. This is something that I would actually agree with, but while I agree with this, I think that it's a mistake to blame the Timberwolves getting knocked out solely on Cat. And I truly hope that the Timberwolves feel the same way, because there's a chance that cap-saving moves could be coming from Minnesota sooner than you think. According to Brian Windhorst, while he doesn't necessarily think that they tear the team apart, he does think that there's a possibility that if the ownership change took place, that Cat's role would ultimately be reevaluated, which could be true, as there are reports out there that Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore wanted to duck the luxury tax, which would have been impossible to do so without gutting the team. For those of you who don't know, there's currently this giant messy fight over who's going to be the majority owner of the team. Although a few years ago it was announced Taylor would sell the majority stake that he owned, it's come out that Rodriguez and Lore, who were set to become the team's majority owners, reportedly missed financial and documentation deadlines, and with this happening, Glenn Taylor would cancel the whole sale of the team. Just check out this statement that he released that said that they're no longer for sale. Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez of course wouldn't like this, and they would release a statement of their own, basically saying that we've done everything necessary to become majority owners. The guy is just having seller's remorse because the team is really freaking good right now. No matter how you look at this is a disaster for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You see, as of right now, even if the Timberwolves don't retain any of their upcoming free agents, they are still staring down the luxury tax, something that Glenn Taylor has only paid 4 times in his 30 years of ownership. And this also might be something that Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez just might not be able to do. I mean, the reports do say that they were missing financial deadlines. If those are true, then that's really just not a great look. All of this has me wondering what the future for Cat looks like, and is there a world out there where they'd potentially choose him over Rudy, with Naz Reid looking as good as he has this year? Which, while I'm here, I'm still wondering what if Nas hits that 3 at the end of game 2 to go 8 of 9 from deep. I know that Nas won 6th Man of the Year, but I would love to see this guy starting somewhere. In 19 games without Cat this year, Nas averaged 17.3 points and 6.5 rebounds. Those are pretty good numbers for a starter. Even if the Timberwolves are able to pay the luxury tax, there's a chance that they look at trading Cat in order to get another perimeter creator. Again, don't get me wrong, I don't think that Big Jelly is as good as Cat, but he does make losing somebody like Cat a whole lot easier. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think that Cat for Brandon Ingram would be the worst trade in the world. I already know that I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one. My bad, guys. I just really want Karl-Anthony Towns on my team. I value that guy a lot more than a lot of people do. Imagine Cat and Zion. I really hope that the Timberwolves do everything that they can to retain their core. But if they don't, at least Nas would be able to step into a larger role. Honestly, I could see Glenn Taylor pulling through on his word and paying the luxury tax just to try to win fans over. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now and using code COOP for Underdog Fantasy are great ways to support my channel. And get like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.